thank you everybody for being here today. I'm Mary Beth, and I work for the Fresno City College Career and Employment Center. And what we do there, for the students who don't know, I'm so glad you're here with us today, but we do help with connecting students to employers. We help employers in our community and also beyond our community. If you need help in resume, interviewing, a cover letter, it's so important to get those correct and make a great impression before you go and apply for a job. We help you with that. Today we're putting on our first virtual job fair. We've never done it before, which it's going really well. I'm really happy, and I think I like it. So maybe we'll just keep on doing this. And today we have Jose Ramos, who is from Central Valley Community Bank, and I'm so happy to have him here. I've been trying to get you for a while, I think, to come to one of our events, and I'm glad you're here. So, Jose, tell us about your bank, Central Valley, and
Sure.
and how many branches do you have, and so forth, and from there.
Sure. So we are Central Valley Community Bank. We are actually deeply rooted here in the Fresno Clovis area. We've been in business now. We're celebrating our 41st year in business. So we actually started as Clovis Community Bank. It was 12 bankers who came together, and it was their mission and goal to provide personalized solutions for our clients here in this area. And we have since, in the 41-year history, we've grown to the entire Central Valley region, and also Sacramento area as well. So we actually span over 20 full service offices. We are now 2.2 billion in assets as well. So it gives you an idea of the growth and how our mission and core values has expanded to an array of different communities throughout the Central Valley and the Sacramento region as well.
I had no idea you were part of Clovis. You are Clovis community. I remember when they were, all over Fresno or Clovis, and I had no idea. I think that's fantastic.
Yep, and a lot of people don't know that there is that deep history of Clovis Community Bank,
Right.
but it has since the year 2000 it became Central Valley Community Bank.
Okay.
And obviously, rightfully so, right? We're now in much more larger, in a much larger footprint.
But it's still local, which is fantastic. I love that.
And that's one of the beauties and that's what I've enjoyed working for a community bank. Mm-hmm. This was actually a story to inspire students who are on the call today. I actually started here as an intern. I got an internship here at Central Valley Community Bank, and what I loved from the very beginning is that we're deeply embedded in the communities that we are in. Mm-hmm. And it's as I've been here 7 years, I've learned how different our banking centers are, but for the purpose to serve the clients that are in those regions and areas and cities as well. So, finding an employer that is in alignment with your core values is really important. So I'm really happy. We have students here who are not just looking for jobs, but career opportunities, and with employers that are truly going to be in alignment for what they're looking for not just in the career, but in their life, right? They can fully have passion and truly love what they do and serve the communities that they're in. So,
I think you hit it on the head. You can work for just any employer and it's okay. But if you work for an employer that you're proud of and you love, and you have the same values, like you said, it makes a difference every day when you go to work and who you want to be and who you represent. And if you can find that compatibility with an employer, it's just, I think opportunity is vast within that organization. So I'm glad you brought that up. Okay, so what positions are you looking for currently?
Yeah, so we actually have, this was good time for us in regards to the job fair. We actually have a number of different openings that typically make for good opportunities for students. So we're in the middle of preparing for a conversion for our team members. So basically, to share some insight on that, probably like 80 to 85% of our team members work on the platform that helps them perform the daily functions that they do out at our banking centers and in the back office as well. There's actually going to be an upgrade to our conversion system, is what we call it.
Mhm.
So we need some support team members we have a couple of team members that are going to be pulled as resources as subject matter experts. So as those people are focusing on the conversion, we need some team members to come in and fill in for some of the roles and responsibilities that these team members have,
Okay.
if that makes sense. So we actually have a total of 6 positions that we're recruiting for at the moment that are full-time temporary positions. So when you think of the timing for students that are getting ready to go out for summer break, it's a temporary position that could potentially, they're not temp to hire, they're not temp to full-time hire positions. They are sole temporary positions. But what often happens if team members who join us as temporary employees, if they like the environment and they're interested in full-time employment, we have an internal job posting system in which they would see all of our open positions towards the end of the term. If they
Okay.
were interested in applying for full-time or part-time positions, they would be eligible to do so.
Okay. Where do they go to apply? Can you put that in the chat too? Do you have a website? I know you have a website, but
Yeah.
how would they apply?
So to apply, we actually just posted these positions. We just posted them. So they'd be able to find them on our website. So if you visit www.cvcb.com, so the abbreviation for Central Valley Community Bank, and it's /careers, we'll get them to the careers page, which can be navigated from the homepage.
Okay.
They'll be able to find those open positions. And one of them is titled Banking Center Support. And then our other position is titled Project Assistant. These are the temporary roles that we have.
Okay.
So just to give an idea on the time span of how much of what can be expected as far as, when I say temporary, how long is that? So it's projected to go about 5 to 7 months. So obviously for students that could span much longer than the summer. And often when we extend these type of opportunities to students, there's a concern of, will I start school on this date and I won't be able to do the full 40 hours. We do our best to be flexible, and we understand, especially if it's a student, and if we have a heads up that gives us an idea. But the need would definitely be a full-time 40 hours. And one of the great things about our environment is that work-life balance. So it's typically only Monday through Friday in that 8 to 5 time period. So that's one of the things that I have loved about working at Central Valley Community Bank. I could look forward to my weekends. So
I totally hear you on that one. Yes.
yeah.
I
So
remember working retail during college, and oh God, you may have a day off on Monday and a day off on Thursday, but it didn't feel like you had any time off. So working Monday through Friday and having the weekend is really a nice attribute. It's a nice
it's
quality
definitely
about the job. And
big
yeah.
plus. And we often, us being a banking institution, I'll talk a little bit about some other openings that we have on an ongoing basis. At the moment, we have like 1 or 2 in the area, but people working, as you bring up, individuals that work retail, typically it makes for a much quality transition to our environment, because their skills do translate well into our entry level positions out at our banking centers.
Right.
So we actually we are frequently recruiting for banking tellers out at our banking centers. So like right now, for example, we have a banking center specialist position, which is more of a banker position. We typically look for an individual that does have banking experience. But it doesn't mean that we're not open to those that do not have the banking experience. If they have the schooling, some relevant experience, we provide the appropriate training for them to come in to feel comfortable to fulfill the needs and expectations of the role. And we frequently recruit students for that level of position as well. So that's one where it's kind of like on the as needed basis, and we post positions as they come. At the moment, the only one in this area is the one in Kerman, and that's a full-time 40-hour position. If someone, and that's a regular ongoing position. So if someone was looking for that and was in need of a full-time position, maybe someone who just graduated, that could be a great opportunity for someone who's looking to enter the workforce and join a professional environment. Versus some of these other jobs that are out there. It definitely makes for a quality career opportunity.
Yeah, this is fantastic. You have a lot to offer. We've had a lot of people come in just a moment ago, and I do want to introduce Jose Ramos to those who just entered our room. And he is from Central Valley Community Bank. And Jose, are you the director of HR, or what is your title?
Yeah, so I'm actually the HR business partner here at Valley Community Bank. Yeah, and I am the full-time recruiter for all of our locations.
Okay.
So I basically partner with all of our banking centers and our corporate building here, which those 6 positions that I mentioned to you that were full-time temporary.
Can you just mention that? Somebody asked, can you mention the positions real quickly, the titles that you are recruiting for?
Yeah, so one of them is titled, and this is how they're titled on the website. So you have one that's project assistant.
Okay.
You'll notice on the heading it mentions temporary full-time. And then there's another one, the banking center support, which is full-time temporary. And I could talk a little bit about the differences on those. Okay. But the project assistant is more so for that core conversion support. The banking center support, that position would more so help fill in our call center and in our banking centers as well. So for someone who is interested in banking and would like to get a good feel as to what it's like to work, in a banking center where it is client facing and you have that interaction, someone, who's personable and looks forward to having that interaction, building relationships. That one may be more equipped for someone who is looking for that. And then the project assistant, the core conversion, we're definitely looking for those who are like tech savvy, driven, take initiative to take on new projects or workload or new tasks. So 2 that are slightly different and different environments. A project assistant will report here to our corporate building where I'm at. So it's less of a client facing position versus the other one. Yep.
Wow. Okay. This is so incredible. I'm so glad you're here. I want to put it out there to students. If you have a question, if you'd like to come on, we can see you. We'd love to have you on. So does anybody want to ask a question to Jose directly? Is that not going through the chat?
There is some questions in the chat.
Okay. Why don't we start with that first?
The first question, how old do you have to be to work there?
No necessarily restriction on the age. It's just obviously if we would require a work permit if it was younger than the 15. It just there's no real restriction. It's just as long as you have the work permit to work, we would be open to that.
Okay. Real quickly, and somebody raised their hand to ask a question, but for a work permit, though, a student needs to go to their counselor at school to get that, correct? Okay. I know there's some issues when they're out of high school and they're going to city college. There's been a back and forth issue how one gets a work permit if they're under 18, and we have yet to get that answer. So what other questions we have? And then we'll have, is it Kaya Wilson raised her hand? They want to come and ask a question as well. What question do you have, Kaya?
Oh, how do you apply?
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, you can visit our website, and our website is www.cvcb.com. So the abbreviation for Central Valley Community Bank. I'll say that again, that's www.cvb.com. If you visit our website, we actually have a careers page up at the top. you will see About Us, and you'll kind of hover over the drop down, and it'll take you to our careers page. Or if you wanted to go through it directly, I believe if you input www.cvcb.com/careers, it should get you there. So you'll see all of our open positions there. And even if you weren't interested at this point in time, we typically keep our external job postings up to date on that website there. So you can feel free to apply for the appropriate position that you're interested in by clicking on the specific position, the title and the heading. And from there, it provides a full description of the job. And then up at the top, it will allow you to apply for the position. So.
Great. Thank you. Do we have
Hopefully
any other
that helped.
questions? Yeah, they did. Do we have any other questions?
Yes, I believe you already answered these questions, but I'll just go ahead and read it again. What kind of positions are you hiring, and what are your minimal qualifications? How do you contact your interviewer?
Got it. Okay, so the two main positions that we're recruiting for at the moment, they are those full-time temporary positions that I mentioned. For both of the positions, again, we're looking more so for an aptitude for technology, proficiency with computers, having that level of detail and organization. For both level of roles, we are seeking potentially 6 months of some related experience. Doesn't necessarily have to be banking experience. So if you have some work experience in the retail environment, in sales and customer service, we're definitely open to that. And as I just mentioned, the two positions that I mentioned are slightly different. The position that's for the banking center support, that one is client facing, so you have to be comfortable talking to others, establishing relationships, and also the multitask of being able to manage the conversation while also helping a client with the needs and the services that you are helping them with. So it definitely calls for more multitasking and the ability to manage the conversation and what you're doing on the computer and so on. So that one, like I mentioned, would be client facing potentially here in our call center or out at our banking centers. And then the project assistant position, that's more of a conversion support here in our main headquarters building. So you still would be working directly with people, but it's more so with the teams here and learning new tasks and trying to help support those who are absent from their day-to-day work. So both slightly different, and for both, we are open to reviewing experience and education that is relevant to these specific roles. So it's definitely an entry-level opportunity for those that may be looking for that.
That's so fantastic. Do we have any more questions? Because I got some questions, or I have some questions, excuse me.
And I think one other part of that, I think they asked how to get in contact with the interviewer. So
Yeah.
we're reviewing applications, and we do, in all instances, we do our best to review the applications. And if you are being considered, we typically reach out and we'll reach out for an interview. And if you aren't being considered, we still do our best to send updates and let you know if you are not being considered or if you are. So yeah, once you apply online, it typically will send you a confirmation email letting you know that we received your application, and we'll be in contact.
Okay, good. Okay, great. One question I'm going to ask is, everybody can have the same skills and they can do it well, but what qualities beyond skills do you look for in somebody when you hire?
It's really important when you're interviewing, I think it's really important for the interviewer to know that you're taking the opportunity seriously. So the little things that I think most students often don't think about. Obviously, they're out looking for jobs, and there's a lot of positions out there, and employers have different processes and different applications. It's really important that you recognize that looking for a job is in essence a job, right? So you have to be very detailed, very patient with the application processes and so on. And another key characteristic I think is persistence, right? So and being consistent. That's the only way you're truly gonna receive calls from potential employers that you are interested in. So instead of just filling out the application as soon as possible, is there some things that you can add to your application that will help you stand out, right? One thing we need to recognize is that there's other people that are being considered for the positions that you are applying for. So though a position only asks for 6 months of relevant experience, you may have people that have years and years of experience also applying for the role. So sometimes I know it can be frustrating because students apply for a position and they're wondering like, oh, why didn't I receive a call? I feel like I met all the minimum qualifications. I met all the key characteristics, but often there's other people that are qualified that are applying for the position and that are standing out. So I think being persistent, consistent, being very detailed, reviewing your application, reviewing your resume. I think that's the first step to be able to get a conversation with the recruiter or with the hiring manager. That's huge. And then I think just being passionate about the opportunity, and just doing everything you can to show what value you're going to add to the organization.
Yeah, I like you brought up a statement. You have people who have a lot of experience will be applying as well. You're competing with people who don't have experience, and I like the fact that you say be persistent, consistent, etc. And I think that's a huge quality in a person who doesn't have a lot for anybody, honestly. And now for the person who doesn't have experience though, and I think the trick for them is to, and I'm going to ask your opinion, is volunteer, join some groups, take a lead position. Those experiences you can record on a resume, on the application, or put on a resume, and they stand out. Am I correct?
No doubt.
And so you would take that experience and that background in consideration. And plus it gives the student something to write about, because I get so many people coming in, they've never worked, they never volunteered, I don't know what to do, when they recreate. You can't create a resume, honestly. But you have more to say. But I encourage students, yes, get involved at City College, get involved in a project within your class, get involved with the groups, do volunteer work off campus. There's a lot of volunteer work in the community, and you create contacts for yourself, you create new skills, customer service skills, so much. And that can mean a lot to a paying job. And I know you want to hire somebody with quality, and plus I think it shows an employer that you're not sitting home doing nothing and watching TV. And so
that's a big part of the students here on the call. I think you have to, again, being very persistent and consistent, and being proactive in seeking opportunities. I mean, I could share my own personal experience. I had close to, I think it was 4 unpaid internships during college. I went to Fresno State, but I came to school and I had the opportunity to focus on school. I had grants and scholarships and so on. So I truly focused on seeking every opportunity that I could to truly get a sense as to, okay, what do I want for my life, right? These are big things that you need to ask yourself before you get your degree.
That is so incredible. And I encourage people who have gotten those scholarships to put it down on their resume, because they just weren't given to you. You earned them.
Yep.
And it just shows a lot of quality and character in the person, hardworking, focused. They're going to reach their goals. And that's who employers want to invest in, people like Jose, because they know how to create success. So that is so good. I want to ask another question. A lot of people want to know, do they need to write a cover letter when they apply to a job like yours? Do they need to have a resume? And I always say yes, but what is your opinion from the employer standpoint?
I think having a resume that truly highlights, key accomplishments, key responsibilities is very clear, concise, and again is detailed enough where it's providing the information the employer needs.
Mhm.
And obviously checking for spelling errors and grammar and so on. And I know sometimes we read a document and it's like, oh yeah, it's good, right?
Mhm.
But sharing it with other people, getting insight from others, I think definitely does help,
Mhm.
right? So keeping those things in mind, I think are definitely critical.
That's excellent. What about a cover letter? 'Cause people think, I
Oh,
don't
cover
need it.
letter, yeah.
What,
So
what do you get from a cover letter?
yeah, so a cover letter, again, I think um, I don't think you should necessarily focus on personalizing every cover letter that you're looking to submit an application for. You definitely can, especially if you truly want a position and you're the cover letter, in my opinion, and you'll find a number of different descriptions and purpose of a cover letter online. But in my opinion, it's your opportunity to wow the potential hiring manager, right?
Yes.
Your opportunity to show your true value and why you're so interested and passionate in the role. So something like a good cover letter can potentially help students who do not have as much experience.
That's
Maybe
true.
there's some things you want to highlight that are not on your resume, some accomplishments and so on.
Mhm.
A cover letter can be helpful, but on the flip side, it also cannot be helpful if it's just a super long letter
Mhm.
that's 2 pages long.
Yeah.
The odds of the hiring manager or the recruiter actually reading it are very low.
That's a
Uh,
good point. I'm glad you said that because I'm helping people with cover letters, and I said it can't be so wordy, but you can't have just one paragraph. It has to be at least three, but you can't go on and on. So you got to
yeah,
be choosy what you say.
yeah. The thing we need to so you for to be successful in the recruiting process as a potential candidate, you sometimes have to put yourself in the recruiter's
Yeah. Yeah.
perspective or the hiring manager's perspective.
Mhm.
They're taking the time to review your cover letter and resume.
Mhm.
Just think about it. If that was you, do you want to read through 3-4 pages of
No,
detail? There's
especially when you
other
have 100.
applicants as well,
Yeah,
right?
especially when you have
So
100 apps to go through. So
mhm,
I hear that
mhm.
from community hospital. I've heard that from so many employers. So you're right on. You're right on. We have about 2 minutes left. This session has flown by. I want to thank everybody for being here this morning. This is our first virtual career fair, and I think it's going very well. Jose, he is. You've done a fantastic job. I'm so glad that you are part of our event this afternoon or this morning. And I'm wondering, I don't know, Jose, did you post any of your jobs on our job speaker website?
Yes, they've
Oh, you
both been
did.
there, so you could actually also find it there.
Okay.
Um, Not able to find it on our website.
Okay, good. And yes, please. And I want to let everybody know, especially Jose, that this session is being recorded, and we're going to post these sessions on our website for the next couple of weeks. So if people who were not able to make it today, they can view this session later as many times as they want to, and we're going to market that quite heavily to our student body. So we're going to get a lot more attention. But I can't thank you enough. You did a great job. I think Central Valley Community Bank sounds like a great organization to look into, to learn about, to be a part of. I'm so glad you're a part of our event today. Yeah. Is
No
there
doubt.
anything else? Let me see. You know what? What is your expectation, real quickly, of work attire? You want people to dress professionally, especially in an interview, of course. But what do you expect out of people?
Yeah, so I think you definitely, when you're interviewing, you definitely want to make your best first impression. And one of the great ways to do that, one of the easy ways to do it, is to dress professionally, right? So
Mhm.
in our environment, we are we don't have to dress with like suit and tie. Obviously here, like I'm wearing a polo, so
Yeah,
it's business professional, but more of a business casual,
a nice
where we
business. Yeah.
typically wear slacks, a button-up shirt or a polo shirt, in our environment, especially for those that are working here in our corporate building. It's less of a client-facing
Mhm.
position.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think it definitely it depends the industry that you may be looking into.
Mhm.
Like you can be looking in the graphic design industry, and they're a lot more casual
Very
than
different. Yeah.
than the banking environment, right? So you just have to recognize, dependent on the industry and the type of role that you're going into, it may vary, and you just have to do, I think, your best, even though, like, I like dressing casual, right? But I also like dressing up, and I see the value of presenting myself professionally in dress, and it completely
Makes a
reflects
difference.
who you are, right?
Yeah.
You're telling a story based off of what you're wearing.
Right.
So I think very often, and we now live in times where dress, we're much more casual, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
So you think of ways to stand out. One of the great ways to do that is by dressing professionally or presenting yourself in the very nice way.
So true. It
Based
says
off
a
of
lot.
so.
Yeah. Great. This is fantastic. I thank you. Thank you again.
It's a pleasure.
Yes.
Best of luck to all you students, and feel free to check out our open positions if you're interested. So.
All right.
All right, everyone.
Thank
Have a great
you.
morning. My
You
pleasure.
too. Have a good, bye-bye.